The buzzword in mobile at the moment is applications, obviously. And as an operator, SingTel is working very closely now with developers to provide these applications to the end user, which is basically your customers. Tell me a little bit about what SingTel is doing to foster this development relationship.
So we work with developers namely in two ways, right? The first way is that if we find interesting developers that have compelling applications, we then look to bring them to our part of the world. So a good example is Mycello, who has a shopping mall application. So we worked with Mycello and we actually brought their application to Singapore. We co-branded it with them, and we worked with them to really localize a lot of the content. We will work with them. We will review the app and then look at it and see if there's a play in our market, right? And then a lot of times we will work with them to also customize the application so that we think, in a way where we think it would succeed in our marketplace. Right?
Do you think that SingTel works with developers very differently to how US carriers, for example, work with developers?
Yeah, I think so. But I think that might be a function of just how the markets might be a little bit different. So one of the key constraints a lot of developers have in Singapore is really access to data, right? To create a meaningful and a compelling application, right? So, and there isn't access to as many APIs in our part of the world as there might be, let's say, in North America or in Europe.
So how many developers are you working with at the moment?
So we work on different projects with different developers. I think right now we're working probably with about 10 developers. So sometimes developers also work with us on a specific project. So if we have a business need internally, let's say our business mobility team comes to us and say, well, we want to create an app, targeted at business customers with such and such functionality. We actually take that out to the developer community and try and assess who has the correct skill set, and they will actually custom build an app for us.
And do you see yourselves, SingTel, as a bridge sort of between developers in the rest of Asia?
We do. And I think increasingly we want to play a bigger part in that. We hope to find the best of breed startups that have very compelling propositions and be able to bring them out there. And because SingTel has markets in Singapore and Australia, markets that we fully function in, we also have a lot of different joint ventures in the different markets in Asia, like India, Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand. We also hope to be able to provide startups with that platform in order to reach Asia.